Hi everyone, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to AMA for our AMA on the 10th of February. Thanks very much. We've got a pretty tight schedule tonight, so we're going to try and keep to time as much as we can. Maybe. And yeah, so James, over to you. Maybe do you want to this is my favorite part of the month, really. I kind of got you pinned down. You can't go anywhere, and I can ask you a couple of questions, but we've been super busy the last month. I know you've been in and out. We've had a ton of people in the office. Maybe not just the FINXFLO, but what's going on in the market? What are you seeing?
Well, previously our AMA, I would have said that we're in a bear market. Now we've kind of gone into a consolidation period where it seems as though we're not bullish, we're not bearish, we're just in kind of like no man's land. I still feel as though, the overall macro view is that there's going to be a lot of upside, especially if you look at, the potential of the issues in the Ukraine, Putin going to invade, means there's going to be a lot of capital flight going into, the so-called safe havens, which used to be the Swiss franc, used to be the US dollar. I guess that now a lot of traders are looking at Bitcoin as a way of hedging. So that's fantastic for the overall cryptocurrency market. So that's really cool, especially with the equity markets. They're obviously very, very shaky right now as well. So if you look at those, the fundamentals coming off the back of COVID, we're coming out. Things are starting to open up. But as most of the people will know, fundamental and technical analysis is normally lagging. Especially technical analysis is a lagging indicator. So it seems as though there's going to be inflationary issues globally around the world. So people's incomes are not growing as fast as what they should, and then that's obviously causing a lot of pressure on spending power. So people now, especially traders, are going to be looking in order to diversify portfolios. I think now that Bitcoin is an amazing area for them to be able to diversify. So I actually see gold and Bitcoin as two major plays coming up into Q2, Q3, and obviously slightly further away this year.
Great. That's saved me watching CNBC for another month. So thanks for that, James. As I said, we've got so many questions. We want to get through as many as we can. We could sit here and chat markets all night. But moving on to the first question we had. Regulation, licenses, MAS, SISEC, SEC, to name but a few of the agencies we're engaged with. Can you give us, me and the community, just an update on where we're up to, what the feedback is, how the meetings are going?
Yeah, so we've concluded pretty much all of our meetings here in Singapore. It's all done and dusted. We have had a change of officer, so there's been a bunch of people leaving the MAS, which has not helped the process. I also know that I got information that the head of the Payment Services Act has also left as well recently to go and join Facebook, which I guess will put the MAS on the back foot when it comes to the approvals of any kind of licensing. So that's where they're kind of struggling. In Europe, we are still waiting for an officer to be assigned to us. We actually put in our application a relative amount of time, about three or 4 months ago. So they have up to 6 months. The US, we are still waiting to basically work out the best action plan of moving forward. We're obviously moving forward with a bit license or at least looking to acquire it. It doesn't seem as though that's probably the best play, because obviously CFTC and the SEC are now the two major regulators in the US that are looking at regulation. Obviously, many individuals would have been able to watch Congress coming together and basically discussing Bitcoin and digital currency. So we do anticipate there's going to be some kind of clarity in the next three to 6 months. So hopefully on our next AMA or AMAs, I'll be able to enlighten more. We are opening up an office in Dubai. So the Dubai office should be set up and structured within the next month or month and a half. So we're also going to be acquiring a license there. So that's the next play for us to move into, and then our chief compliance officers also mapping out other licenses that we're going to be looking to acquire within the next 6 to 12 months. But we want to concentrate on the ones that we've already gone for, and we're going to continue pushing for those until we get the outcomes that we're expecting.
Wow, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, and I'd love to dive into it. We just don't have the time this evening. And just for everyone on YouTube, what we did is, because everyone's time's pretty limited at the moment, rather than usual format where we're picking questions out of the chat, we spoke to the community in Telegram, some of our key members there who really amazing members of the community, very good at contributing, very good at asking the right questions. We've just aggregated them all for speed and continuity. What we'll do next time, we'll maybe have a bit more of an informal one where we'll take a few more questions on the fly. But interesting there, and moving from MAS to Facebook, that's a ballsy move at the moment. But good luck to whoever's moved. So neatly takes us into sort of talking about products and planning and the future, about the roadmap. So where are we up to?
Yeah, I mean, great question. Look, we have our debit card, which is being released soon. We're unable to give any kind of definitive timelines because the actual the underlying provider of that actually changed their terms in January. So we've been battling these changes of terms. We have a new website, which I'm absolutely assured that a new website will be rolled out on the 27th of April. So the individuals that have put their kind of reputations on the line, that will be rolled out again on the 27th of April. So the team now are under pressure to get that rolled out and delivered on time or before deadline. We have amazing news for some of our institutional sales guys. Fix 4.4 is going to be rolled out within the next 30 days-ish. It's just being final testing. So we've got final testing there, which will then mean that there's a lot of institutional customers that will then be using Fix, which is absolutely fantastic. So we're going into more of the traditional world. Compliance have done an amazing job with regards to 250 new tokens being added. We're now working out which liquidity providers are going to add those tokens. So we are anticipating in the next quarter that at least 250 to 300 tokens to be added onto the platform, which gives us much better depth than other trading platforms. We are going to also be initiating a buyback of the token. So that's being formulated and planned as we speak. 0 fees, as most people would know, that's been rolled out. It's only going to be around rolled out for a couple of months. Until there needs to be extra utility added. So in order to continue with 0 fees, you'll essentially have to be holding and staking tokens. But I'll come on to that, I guess, a little bit later. We've also got more exciting news. So by Q2, Q3 this year, we will actually have a launch pad. So FINXFLO is now officially announcing the launch pad to be coming soon. That adds extra utility. We'll be having the world's best projects on the launch pad, so anyone using FINXFLO's platform will get access to these kind of projects, which is absolutely amazing for everybody involved. Token utility has been worked on actively, and we've vigorously worked on that. A big shout out to our head of product, Matthew Page, for helping me and the team design the token utility. We also have 8 new liquidity providers being added as we speak. So that's in process. The maker side's already been done. We're now executing the taker side. So that should be again completed within the next 30 days. So we are going to have around 18 or 19 liquidity providers fully piped and being executed.
Sorry, just to jump in there, just for the community, and we live this every day, but if you could maybe explain the dependency on tokens, custodians, and liquidity providers as well, how that kind of triangle works.
Yeah, cool. So no worries. So we obviously, first of all, the custodian has to be able to support the token that we're looking to add to the platform, because obviously we have third-party custody. The reason why we have third-party custody is essentially for security of our customers. So, for instance, if FINXFLO was to cease trading, then all of our customers are still totally safe, as their tokens are in a third-party custodian that FINXFLO don't have access to. So first of all, we need to ensure that our custodian can support those tokens. Once that's been completed, then compliance have to essentially ensure that the tokens are not securities. If they are securities, then we're unable to offer security tokens. So first of all, first check is with the custodian, second check is compliance. Once those checks have then been completed, we then need to go to our liquidity providers, and then we have to then essentially assess all of the liquidity providers to ensure that they also support the token, and the token's been listed on the liquidity provider. So once those checks have been done, balances have been checked, been completed, then we have to run various vigorous testing. So Treasury are involved in testing to make sure there's enough liquidity, to make sure that we're able to roll it out. Then once we've ticked all those boxes, then we're able to essentially go live once tech have completed their final like front end UI additions. So there is a big process behind it. We have to be very methodical. The team have been doing an amazing job, but it's extremely important that we don't mess any of it up, because obviously it does have huge implications regulatory. But then we will obviously be constantly looking at the token, because as we all know, projects do add further utility to their tokens, as FINXFLO does, and we have to be kept abreast. So there's not only the retrospective checks that compliance completes, there's also the ongoing monitoring.
And it's not like there's not 1,000 new tokens launching every month we have to keep on top of as well. Yeah. Thanks for that, James. It was really helpful, because I think sometimes there is just add the token, and it's not as easy as it's not that easy to do it right, to do it safely, to do it securely. It is challenging.
Well, the thing is with any of this, that we can rush stuff out. It can be rushed, but then we're potentially going to rush something out. It could go horribly wrong, and we're not a project that's going to be around for the next month, like many other projects. We're going to be around here for the next 5 to 10 years. So we have to be extremely methodical. Plus, we are going the regulated route. So we just need to ensure that we do never leave any stone unturned, which the team have been doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, great. I'll second that. So we run a little over on that question, so I might try and condense one or two. But I think dear to the community's heart, zero trading fees. How long will they last? What's the plan? What's the feedback been like? So
zero trading fees, the feedback so far from a number of individuals is how are you doing it, basically. So we're a bit surprised. The fact that we're aggregating so many different pools of liquidity gives us the optionality of being able to roll out zero fees, because of the price deviation and the way that the price disparity works. It means that we still have enough skin in the game for the company to be profitable and for us to be able to offer zero fees. It will last probably for around another month, 2 months maximum. And then we will be looking to execute the token utility, which means that you'll have to be staking a certain amount of tokens in order to still be receiving zero fees. Don't worry if you don't want to buy FXF tokens, but you just want to still use the aggregation and the engine. You're still able to do so at a very small charge.
Great, thanks. Cleared that up. That's really interesting, and I think it takes us neatly into token utility as well. I know we covered that earlier, but if you maybe want to just talk about the longer term view for that.
Yeah, so there's a three-pronged approach for the token utility. There's the debit card, there's staking. So staking and debit card are two very important pillars. There are a number of reasons for staking tokens, obviously, to get for zero fees as well. So zero fees. You then have your debit card, in which you're going to get lots of benefits and lots of stuff around that. Then obviously staking is another utility. You're able to stake tokens and receive the rewards. And then the final piece of that jigsaw is the launch pad. So in order for everybody to be able to access projects, we're not going to be set up as other launch pads. Most other launch pads actually have a lottery system. We're going to have, if you're staking a certain amount of tokens, you will automatically gain access and gain an allocation to those projects. So we're looking at executing it slightly different to the way that other launch pads work, but we want it on a much more fair basis.
Brilliant. Sounds really exciting. That actually neatly takes us into staking and tokenomics. We touched on it at the start, and you mentioned you've been working closely with Matt Page on this. Do you want to maybe give us a slightly lot bigger answer on that? bit more.
So, sorry, staking and tokenomics with regards to the unlocking of the allocations, or what?
We actually had about 3 questions on this. I mean, one question is, what would you do once the 12 million allocated staking be distributed? What are we going to do are there going to be more pools opening? As we know, the pools have been super popular. Just how the staking and how the tokenomics interplay.
Yeah, I mean, look, number one, staking is going to be the bedrock of FINXFLO for at least the next couple of years. There will be more and more pools being released. The actual staking pool or the 8% of the token supply, which 12 million tokens, the 12 million tokens will then be distributed and allocated to the rewards, obviously, because we're going to have more and more staking pools that are going to be coming to fruition, and then obviously we need to pay out those rewards. Staking pools are going to be continuing to be produced. I think that we may stop at some point, because we only have a finite amount of tokens. So we're trying to work it out now, but it's probably no more than 40% of the total token supply can ever be unlocked. If you do look at other projects where they lock 50% of their token supply, it then means obviously when we launch our buyback, that should have a significant upside for any participants in the FXF token. Right now, I do believe that the FXF token is drastically undervalued, and it's potentially an amazing opportunity for us as a company in order to conclude the buybacks, because when we issue more staking pools and those tokens, those 12 million have obviously been utilized, we will be buying back from the active market. As we've always stated previously, and then we will be giving them as rewards. So individuals don't really need to be too concerned about the amount of pools that we'll be opening. Just be aware that there are a finite amount of tokens, so there is going to be a time when we have to stop staking, and then you'll have to wait for other pools to mature, but we're still a little way away from that yet.
Brilliant, great answer. I mean, I think lots of things seem to be coming in threes in this chat, but I mean, if you think about the ongoing buyback, the APR, which is fantastic as well. I mean, I think that it's a great APR, and the opportunity for token growth because of the buyback and because of the other things as well. I think we're going to get you. It's a really nice trifecta way of locking it in, and for the that medium long term view.
Yep, totally agree.
Yeah, good. Hey, we got a couple of questions on the debit card, which is, I'll roll them into one for speed, but when will the pre-registration start? Do token holders get preferential rights? And maybe a little bit more detail on that. And I know we can't say everything because we're working with MasterCard, etc., but some of the rewards, benefits that you'll get with the card as well.
Yeah, so I'm unable to really speak about rewards. The partnership team, being headed up by Stefan and his team over there, Marlene, etc., have done an amazing job so far with regards to connecting to various different partners or potential partners. We're unable to kind of announce any until the card's live, because of the partner with the entity that we're partnering with for this card. We are bound legally by a bunch of red tape, so we have to be very, very careful on what we announce. However, there's going to be a huge amount of upside by holding the token. If you are a token holder, number one, I personally thank all of the token holders so far that are holding tokens. We will be giving you extra benefits, as always. Anybody holding tokens throughout this entire journey will be getting a lot more upside than non-token holders. The actual debit card itself, it's a little bit like a piece of string at the moment. Like we don't know how far away we are. I mean, I can give you not even kind of like a finger in the air kind of estimation. The reason being is that right now it's super ambiguous with regards to the partner. As I mentioned before, I think the 31st of January, they changed their terms and conditions on all their cards globally. There's also been some toing and froing because we're crypto. There's certain words we can use. There's certain words we cannot use. They're being super I guess, stringent with regards to their approach when it comes to the cards, because obviously crypto's new and they're obviously very, very concerned about rolling these cards out. I do know that the team have been pushing very, very hard, and we're trying to get some clarity around this. I wish that I could give you further information. Just be absolutely certain that if you are a FXF token holder, we will give you preferential treatment.
That's great. Thanks, James. And conversation about cards leads us straight into marketing. Again, a lot of great questions, but I think we can summarize them with when will the next phase of marketing start? What product features are you waiting for before you really start this? And any interest in sponsorships? I don't think we're going to sponsor the Miami Arena just quite yet, but anything that we're thinking you're doing, maybe a bit left field or that the community would be interested in?
Yeah, so we're actually in conversations right now with a number of sporting teams. We're still trying to work out a way of pulling capital into these kind of areas and being able to have some kind of quantitative analysis with regards to, how many downloads come off the back of it, how many people have actually gone onto the platform. It's very, very tough when you're kind of doing this kind of marketing and having any kind of benchmarking to realize, okay, well, this was somebody that looked at so-and-so or some sport team and then go, oh, okay, let me take a look at the platform. So we're trying to work out very clear paths for success to be able for us to measure that from a marketing standpoint, which is a challenge. Marketing itself, the marketing team, we've been working extremely hard in order to develop a very clear and stringent go-to-market plan. We are in the closing of funding, which is $40 million. Now, $40 million sounds like a reasonable amount of money, but when it comes to marketing, it can be very, very small, especially when you look at our overall competitors like Binance, Coinbase, FTX. They've got billions and billions of dollars to burn. So we need to kind of be very, very clever and stringent on our approach. We do have amazing marketers in our company that are working very, very hard. And our go-to-market plan strategy will be executed once the platform has been is in the position to do so. We are very, very, very close to that now. The tech team have done a brilliant job. So we're now probably 6 to 8 weeks away from us really, really starting to push marketing. There's lots of brand recognition, so people need to understand who FINXFLO are and what FINXFLO do. And then we need more performance marketing. We need more people to sign up and get engaged and get on the platform and start trading. But we don't want to really push that button, as what I've previously said, without the platform being ready. It costs a lot of money and user acquisition. It costs a lot to get somebody on the platform, and just even to download the demo and take a look and kick the tires, it costs a lot for that user acquisition. So potentially we have one bite of the cherry. We want to make sure the platform's totally ready. We want to make sure it's stable. It's now stable. It's ready. There's 250, 300 tokens being added in the coming months. We want to make sure that our execution's amazing. That comes in with the 8 new LPs that are being added, resting orders, the way that they're resting on the actual aggregation engine, et cetera, et cetera. Execution is going to be perfect, and all the other areas are going to be absolutely perfect. So when we actually execute our go-to-market plan in this timeline, then we should be able to have sticky customers rather than customers that just come onto the platform, take a look, and then go, oh, actually, I'm going to go back to wherever they're trading at right now.
No, good explanation. Thanks, Jen. And you're absolutely right. We've all seen the Super Bowl adverts. We've heard some of the crazy numbers, and I think it was Coinbase whose advert crashed the website, which is just hilarious. That you'll spend that much money on marketing and not think about tech. So really good to know that we're looking at both sides of the equation. I'll say that's been really good. Just talking, we could probably maybe talk about custodian, partner, trading pairs, but do you want to maybe mention about the FXF token as well? I don't think we covered that in the intro. I know we were planning on talking about that.
The FXF token in which kind of way would you like me to talk about?
For the exchange for listing.
Okay, so listing, we are obviously in deep conversations with a number of exchanges. It's something that we are obviously looking for, because we want to have new users. We want to have new people looking at the platform. We have to be very, very careful and considered, but we are going to be launching on a centralized exchange at some point. And when that's executed, we need to make sure that we get a great deal for the company, and that we get a great deal for all the existing token holders, and that we're able to gain further exposure for the platform, so we get a lot more users as well.
That's great. Thanks. And just like we said about the tokens, you own, and you said about the marketing, you only get one shot at this. You've got to do your diligence. You've got to do it correctly.
Yeah. So the platform itself has to be ready. So when we do a tier 1 exchange listing, platform also has to be ready, because if you've got hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people going onto the platform, you also need to be able to handle that. You need to be able to acquire those users, and you only get one bite of the cherry. So again, we need to be very careful and considered.
Great. We're just getting towards the end of the time, so we've got the last 2 questions. I think we've already covered the custodian, partner, trading pairs. Anything else to add on that?
No, not really. No.
No, I didn't think so. I think we've covered that about the new tokens, great relationship with the LPs and how that supports there. So the last question we had, always do like to finish on a wildcard question. Plans to get into NFTs. What's our thoughts? What are we doing?
Yeah, so we've already had some preliminary conversations around NFTs and NFT marketplaces. Actually, these conversations have actually come from our somewhere left field within the company. So we have an internal audit, and our internal auditor Zoltan has raised this a number of times about NFTs and how that can be integrated, and we've discussed this. So he's an advocate for NFTs. We're now scoping and planning, and we're hoping to add this to our roadmap for potentially Q3, Q4 this year, and trying to get it integrated into the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, that sums it up in really that our internal audit is probably the most bullish person on NFTs in the company, which you wouldn't get that anywhere but crypto. James, we're just getting towards the end now. We've covered everything that certainly I wanted to do, and the excellent questions from the community. Do you want maybe just wrap us up for a couple of minutes? Give us a few things to think about for the month. And
yeah, sure. I mean, like the team, especially the tech team, have been put on under a huge amount of pressure across this period. We've also been dealing with a lot of absentees from the team. So obviously, COVID's played an instrumental part of progress or slowing of progress, because including myself, as you guys know, the AMA was delayed because I also caught COVID last week. Or a week and a half ago. So we have had kind of delays, but there's still been huge progress. The crunch time for us really happens, I guess, in the next month and a half. I'd say by March, April time, I believe the platform's going to be 100% where we expect it to be, and that's really when the pressure really ramps up, because that's when marketing will ramp up. That's when conversions have to kick in, and then obviously we've been onboarding a number of institutions in the last couple of weeks. Our US entity's done an amazing job, so a big thank you to Jeff and the team in the US, and we've been onboarding more and more customers. So we are anticipating we're having an extremely strong quarter, moving into to the end of Q1 and then Q2. We are going to see a very big surge in the number of users, the amounts of trading volume, and that's simply because the trading platform is now ready for that. I'd like to say thank you to all of our supporters, all of our token holders, everybody that's entrusted us, I guess, as custodians of their hard-earned cash, and we will not let anybody down. We're now pushing hard to become global number one, and I truly feel by the end of 2022, coming into 2023, I really feel that we will be a major force and a major player within the cryptocurrency arena.
Brilliant, James. Thank you. And we're going to finish exactly on time as well. So thank you. Let's get back together again towards the end of Q1. Look back on another month and talk about Q2. Sounds exciting.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thanks, James. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.